I just got a new project. I've been asked to make an action model figure of the singer of a band for a music video. We will scan the artist, so I get a 3D model of him, and then we're gonna take the head of that scan, scale it to this scale. We found this Ozzy Osbourne figure online, and the plan is to lop his head off and change it with the singer of the band. I have to figure out how the model works, print the head, paint it. Hopefully it's gonna look a bit like the artist. Let's get started. The singer is a bit less chunky than Ozzy. Can't really do anything about Ozzy's beer gut. I have to try to pull his head off. It's possible to just pull this off. Yeah. We made one scan that was close up with a lot of detail, and one scan that was of the whole body of the artist for reference. And then I used Rhino to scale the head to the right size, saved it as an STL that is possible to print. My printer is a Ender version 3 KE. It's a decent entry-level printer that suits my needs quite well. There are some visible layer lines from this printer. But this is fixed with a bit of primer. I usually work with quite a limited palette of colors. I stick to the primary colors yellow, red and blue for most of my color blends, and white to lighten, and sometimes black to get really dark colors. I start by putting down a base coat all over the head just to get started. And then I add some black and brown color to do his hair. I block in some big shapes of hair to get some variation in the surface, without worrying too much about the details. And then I can go in and refine some details with the tip of the brush. To achieve a bit more realism to the face, I add some more bluish hue to some of his skin, especially where the beard usually grows. And to desaturate the purple, I add some yellow. This is added over the skin color as a thin glaze. Then I can build up layer by layer to achieve the effect I want. Adding some more pink in the edges of the ears, the cheeks, wherever the skin is a bit more exposed to the cold. And right now it looks a bit clownish, but I managed to blend it out a bit with a mix of the different colors in the palette. And with some final touch-ups, the face starts to come together. Hi guys, I got a bit preoccupied with the paint job, so I decided to paint the whole figure. I think it looked a bit too much like plastic. The leather was sort of plasticky. I think it fits the artist quite well. I guess that if you already know the artist, you've figured out who it is, so good on you for knowing your traditional combined with metal Norwegian artists. I think he looks quite good. I got back from the client and the musician, and they're both happy with the product. I guess that's a job done. Well done. Job well done. Good on me. Fiddle player. It's a tricky word. The musician is a singer and fiddle player. He has this traditional fiddle with 8 strings. That's quite typical for a more traditional way of playing the violin in Norway. The producer just emailed me and she said, I sort of miss his fiddle. I think she thinks it's too short deadline for it, but I have a surprise for them. I'm just printing this now. Gonna go pick it up from the 3D printer, paint it quickly, and then surprise them with this. Here's the fiddle. Yeah, I think I like it. It's scaled by a photo of him with the fiddle in his hand, so I think it should be okay. So now I just have to get rid of these flashings and this extra stuff, and then paint this one too quickly. Thanks. That's weird. Weirdo. I'm sort of in the hurry. It's a bit hard to see what this supports and what is supposed to be part of the violin. I don't really know this Haring fiddle in detail. I have to check the photos. Here's the look of the fiddle. It's a bit hard to see, but you can see the tuning pegs here. It has these traditional patterns here. The sound holes are a bit different, a bit sharper in a way. And there's a set of strings that goes underneath the top strings that you play on, which gives this droning sound that sort of can be heard underneath the main playing. It's a really beautiful instrument. My biggest worry now is that I'm gonna break off pieces that are supposed to be part of the violin, and the musician will laugh at me for being such an amateur. It's a fun thing of having a 3D printer and being able to model things yourself, being able to shape it to whatever you need it for. It's missing some of the tuning pegs, so I'm gonna go up and try to find some super glue and just glue on some pieces that make it look sort of similar. I also tried to print a violin bow, but it didn't work too well. I think I tore it off. Yeah, it's too skinny. I think I have to print it without this extra support. This is very fiddly stuff. It's so detailed, it doesn't really... I don't think this is gonna show in any meaningful manner. But this one is not supposed to be here. Yeah, much better. But as long as the front is colored more or less the correct way, I think this is gonna look perfect. I'm gonna go up and put the base coat of gray so the paint sticks better. This is, by the way, my homemade wet palette. It's just a lid from a plastic box, some kitchen towel with water, and this thin waxed paper. In Norway we have a culture of packing food for hikes and stuff. It's called, in Norwegian this is called matpapir, food paper. It's not for eating, but it's for wrapping food. So it's a quite thin waxed paper, really cheap. And we get them in these square sizes, you can see here. Which is exactly, well, depends on the bread of course, but it's the size of one slice of bread. One of the most important parts of the meal, the lunch in Norway, is usually bread. So when you go hiking in the mountains or in the forest, we usually have this matpakke, food pack. The violin is quite reddish brown, so I'm just gonna base coat everything reddish brown to get a base layer down, and then I can work in other colors on top of that. As long as it's not too thick of a layer of paint, I think this should work quite well. And also it's a tiny model, and yes, they will use cameras that have great detail, but I'm thinking that we might get away with a bit of a rough paint job on this one. And it's always possible to refine these things. So first I'm just gonna slap on some paint for the first layer, let that dry, and then I will go in and figure out more details. It's better than nothing. Just a basic brown coat. And while we wait, I can 3D model a bow, because 3D model of the bow was not very nice. So it's red. I need to make it a lot more red. I guess it's a more of an orange color actually, the whole thing. Yeah, I think this is gonna look better. I didn't think the back of the fiddle would be visible in the video, so it's a bit rough. And you will see in the final result that, unfortunately, the back of the fiddle is also quite visible. But all things considered, I'm happy I made it. So now it's a new artist in the McFarlane's limited edition musician toys. New rock star in the pack. If you compare it to Ozzy, where are you? Yeah, I'm happy with the paint job. So I'm looking forward to the music video. It's gonna be real cool to see it. And hopefully at some point I will be able to connect this video with the music video and share with you some awesome music from this guy. So, thanks for watching. And luckily, I've talked to the producer and the artist, and they've said it's okay that I share this video and link it up with the music. So I hope you will go over there and have a look.